The Avs had every opportunity to win this game. They had leads and they had chances in big moments on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ice, but when it came down to it, they just couldn't find a way to get over the hump when they needed to. Avs lose to the Nashville Predators 5-4 in Game 2 of Round 1. Much like Game 1 here, there were a lot of good things despite the result not being what the Avs wanted, and that's okay. Again, we're seeing progress from this young team. After a shaky first minute, the Avs find their legs, and just like Game 1, on their first shot on goal of the game, they put it in the back of the net, and this time from a much needed source. A sloppy play by Nashville on a pass to the center of the ice and a good forecheck and work by Colin Wilson forces a turnover. The puck's going to bounce over to the boards where Wilson wins it and gets it up to Compher, and then Compher with his head up does a good job recognizing that Gabe Bourque is coming in to the center of the ice right now. He makes a nice pass to get it to him, and Bourque just absolutely snipes one here. Let's just say if Bourque could hit this shot regularly, he probably wouldn't be stuck on the fourth line, eh? And there it is, a depth goal for the Avalanche. Gabe Bourque gets on the board, just goes to show you that in the playoffs, anyone can be the hero. And the idea was for this playoff series, for the Avs to win games, they were going to need that key piece of depth scoring, and they got it here. Unfortunately, before this game, we learned that Sam Girard was going to be out with an upper body injury from Game 1, and our defense looked a little bit lackluster at times because of it. After the goal, the intensity of the game ratchets up, both teams start playing much more physically, but the Avs do seem to be getting the better of it in the short term after the goal, and through the rest of the period it remains very even. Both sides are getting good chances, but Rene, as always, is playing solid for Nashville, and Bernier looks good in net for the Avs as well, and beyond that, Zadorov really played a great first period, if you ask me, with the only other top 4 guy that really is a top 4 guy in the Avs lineup being Barry. Zadorov had to play a lot of minutes defensively, and for the most part it looked good, besides a couple of mistakes that we'll get to. So after a solid 17 minutes of hockey, Nashville does take over a little bit in the last few minutes of the period. The Avs do manage to survive, but they take a late penalty that carries over into the second period. And in the second period, that penalty would end up costing them. You just cannot give Nashville these opportunities. They will capitalize. Preds win a face-off, and you're going to see the puck come to Turris up high here. He's going to skate down the boards with the space that's been given to him, and then you're going to see a quick passing play down low and then into the slot. Fiala is going to cut hard right down the middle, and he's going to slip right between Zadorov and Como, and neither of them are going to be reacting. You're going to see a little bit of confusion from the Avs on the coverage here. Nemeth stays on his side of the ice, guarding the man coming down on the far side. Como also gets beat, though, so he's not covering Zadorov's backside here as Fiala beats him clean, and Zadorov does try to turn around and recover to get in this passing lane here, but he's just too late on the quick pass down low, so Fiala just walks right down the middle and finishes. Just gotta have a little bit better communication there. If Nemeth is going to stay at home in front of the net and cover the far side, Como needs to know that so he can sag back a little bit and cover that backdoor play behind Zadorov. Zadorov on the puck side with Turris having it. He has to respect Turris' shot there and hold his ground so Turris can't just walk all the way in. From there, you could see the Avs really did struggle in the second period, and it's where they started to lose their grip on the game. After the Nashville goal, the Avs' possession remained flatlined for another good 5 minutes while Nashville controlled play. To make matters worse, during that 5-minute time, the Avs would get a power play during it, but as soon as they started it, they would immediately cancel it out by taking a penalty of their own. Just not good. Finally, the Avs survive a storm from Nashville, and they start to limp themselves back to life, getting a couple of shot attempts, but it still takes them a while to really get going. Part of what hindered them getting back up to speed was 7.5 minutes in, they took a too many men on the ice penalty. And that's one of those penalties where if the ref sees it, they just have to call it. There's no getting away with that one. You just can't afford sloppy penalties like that one in the playoffs. Luckily, and thanks to Bernier, the Avs do manage to kill that penalty, and then we see the physicality ratchet up again in this game. Both Landeskog and Ellis end up getting 2-minute minors for roughing, and we go to some 4-on-4 play at about the halfway mark. Initially, the Avs look decent on the 4-on-4, but then a big moment happens, and Bernier just isn't up to the task. Not a ton to this one. What you're going to see is in a 4-on-4 situation, the Avs committed 3 of their players deep with Barry pinching in hard. Nieto is the highest player of these 3, so he's going to be the one scrambling to get back as Arvidsson picks up the puck and just takes off along the far boards. You're going to see Barberio as the man back. He sees Nieto doing a good job of keeping up with Arvidsson here, so he decides to stay in the middle and play the pass as he should. Nieto just can't quite keep up enough to really get anything on Arvidsson's stick here. He's enough to be a presence kind of in his blind spot, but he doesn't impede him. So that allows Arvidsson to get all the way to the circles, and he just unleashes a shot that Bernier just can't seem to find. This is one of those shots that, for the Avalanche to beat the Predators, Bernier probably needs to have this one. And the thing is, I don't think Bernier played that bad in this game. He played fine, but the Avs, to beat a team like the Predators, need goaltending that's better than fine. They need very good to great goaltending, really, to win a game like this. And of course, the loss always comes down to the team on the whole, but it could be anybody that steps up and makes that play, and Bernier failed to do so here. So now down by a goal, you do see the Avs respond well. They do push back and draw a penalty out of Nashville, but once again, the PP lets them down. After another failed power play, the game once again gets into a situation where we get matching minors and we go back to 4-on-4, and once again, it does not work out well for the Avalanche. The Avs win a puck battle along the boards here, and you're going to see Landeskog jump up high to the point while Barry comes around to the far side and cuts into the net. Perfectly fine with Barry doing this. This is what makes Barry a good offensive defenseman. The problem you're going to see here is twofold. First of all, Subban is going to slide across to try and, I guess you could call it, blocking Barry's shot. He ends up colliding with Barry. Barry goes flying off as he doesn't get the shot past Subban. There was some talk about calling this a tripping play, and in the rule book, it does seem like it probably should have been tripping. But in practice, almost every time I see this happen, it doesn't get called tripping, so I was more or less okay with the call. The problem on the Avs side is you're going to see both of the high players, one being Landeskog and the other being Nemeth, creeping in all the way to inside the circles. This is one of your defensemen deep in the zone. Somebody has to cover back in a 4-on-4 situation. Namely, Patrick Nemeth really should not be in that close. He needs to be the safety valve defenseman here, and ideally Landeskog probably wouldn't get that deep either to cover for Barry, but either way, none of them do, so that leaves Johansson wide open way up high when the rebound comes out and just gets flipped up the ice, and then Bernier just can't find a way to stop Johansson on the breakaway. It's tough. Once again, you make those little mistakes, and a team as good as Nashville punishes you for them. It's what turns a good chance one way into a goal the other way here, and the Avs really just can't afford things like that when they go down by 2. Thankfully, although the defense was suspect during a lot of this game, the top line showed up big time, and to respond with that goal, Nathan MacKinnon just decides to go beast mode. An errant shot by Nashville. MacKinnon has recognized Zadorov's going to be the first one to this puck and starts to fly the zone. Zadorov does a good job at getting this puck up to MacKinnon, and you're going to see MacKinnon getting mugged basically all the way up the ice here, but he doesn't care. He just keeps going, fights through it all, and then puts a dirty backhand past Rene. First, you're going to have a position battle with Forsberg. MacKinnon's going to win that out by getting position on the puck here in front of Forsberg. Forsberg reaches for it, does get a piece of it, but MacKinnon keeps control of it and keeps it in front of himself. Forsberg then tries to cut to the other side and just brings a hack down right on MacKinnon's stick here. But even that doesn't stop MacKinnon, and the hack caused Forsberg to slow down, so MacKinnon breaks away a little bit. Finally, you have Ellis coming back and throwing his stick out, trying to defend, but it's too late. MacKinnon's already got the backhand off, and nothing is going to stop it. Boom. An absolutely beautiful goal from MacKinnon. That's the type of play we need from him to get into games in this series, and it keeps us in this one. So you've had a couple mistakes that have cost you up to this point, but a big play from MacKinnon gets you within 1 goal, and this game is still easily winnable from here. Right near the end of the period, Matt Nieto gets dinged for a roughing penalty. On watching the play, he not only gets hit by Subban, he also gets bopped in the face by Pekka Rinne before retaliating on Subban. Feels pretty bad that Nieto got the only penalty out of that one, but I get it. They always seem to get the guy who retaliates. So not a fun penalty to start the third. The good news is the Avs kill that one, so the questionable call doesn't end up costing the Avs. The bad news is a couple minutes later, the Avs get their third power play of the game, and once again it comes up short. When one team fails to finish their chances, the other team usually finds a way to capitalize, and Nashville again shows that The Avs couldn't rise to the occasion, so they're going to punish them. After the Avs fail to score on the power play, a big mistake costs them. This was a painful mistake. Zadorov has the puck. He's carrying it up slowly through his own zone. There's plenty of space here, and in fact, the Predators are even going to back off him a little bit more. He does take a peek at Barrie, and this is what he sees, basically. Barrie standing there ready to receive a pass. The problem is, when he looks away from Barrie, Barrie's going to call for a change here, and I'm not sure whose fault this is. Nemeth quickly gets up and jumps onto the ice. Is he getting on too fast, or is Barrie just too slow at getting off here? Not sure, but Zadorov doesn't see this, and so he passes it over right into them both on the ice. From there, they both panic because they know it's too many men, so neither of them play the puck, and then neither of them is sure which one should get off the ice. Eventually, Nemeth gets off the ice, and Barrie tries to cover back. Another issue here you can see is Zadorov. He knows he messed up here. You can tell from his body language. The problem is, it would have been a whole lot better is if, instead of he stood there going, "Oh darn, I messed up," he immediately covered back. That probably would have solved this whole play. Unfortunately, he doesn't do that. The Predators jump on the puck quickly as Barrie is slow to react because he thinks he might have to get off. From there, it's just totally discombobulated. You have all the forwards up near the blue line ready for a breakout. So there's 3 Nashville players coming in on the 2 defenders. Couple of quick passes come across. Como can't quite get back to cover the 3rd man in, and it's an easy goal for Austin Watson. Just an awful mess of a play, and even there, you can't put all the blame on one player. Yes, Zadorov probably shouldn't have passed it over to the boards. There wasn't really any reason to do so there. But at the same time, whatever that change was from Barrie and Nemeth was just ugly. It was also a bit of a weird situation for a breakout, and it's a situation on the breakout that we see far too often for the Avs. The Avs have 3 forwards up the ice, but none of them are moving their feet. They're all standing in their spot, perfectly still, waiting for a pass to come. But it's not a play that's developing. It's just they went to their spot, and there they are, and there they're going to sit. So even when they receive the puck, now they have to get up to speed to enter the zone, and in cases like this one with a turnover, they don't have any speed going anywhere, so they just get beat flat in a foot race. An ugly, ugly mistake, and now you're down by 2 again, and at the time, it really felt like that was the death blow. But either Nashville was feeling generous or the refs were feeling like they owed us a couple calls or something. Shortly after that goal, Nashville takes not 1 but 2 penalties, and the Avs get a minute and 46 seconds on the 5-on-3. While the 5-on-4 power play was not good tonight, the 5-on-3 was able to get the job done. Once again, top-line players finding the offense that the Avalanche need from them. Barrie's going to pass this puck over to McKinnon, and I really like what McKinnon does here. He's given space here, so he just decides to hold onto the puck, slowly works his way a little bit closer towards the middle of the ice. He eventually sees a shooting lane and just lets it go. And you're going to see Landeskog in front with the perfect screen here. He ends up getting maybe the Avs' first lucky bounce of this whole series as it goes off of him, off of Josi, and into the net. Nashville has had their fair share of bounces in this series through 2 games. It was only fair that the Avs got one too, eh? McKinnon with his 2nd point of the game and 3rd point of the series, so he's there. He's getting the points we need him to, but we're starting to see a theme with the Avs here. They get it back to 1 goal, but then they can't get that tying goal, or it's a tie game and Bernier can't make a save on a shot and now the Avs are behind. These are the types of plays that keep you in games and allow you to win them instead of falling behind and trying to claw back but just can't quite make it to the top. Still, 1 goal deficit, all it takes is 1 play here. Unfortunately, the Avs can't capitalize on the back half of that 2nd power play, and then Nashville comes hard at them after that. The thing is, Bernier plays very well in net during Nashville's push, and that's the thing, again, right there. Bernier plays great to keep the Avs in the game down by 1. We really need that type of play when it's a tie game, and then an Avs goal could put them up by 1. It makes all the difference. With less than 5 minutes left, the Avs do try to push back, but they just don't seem to have a whole lot left in the tank. Eventually they pull the goalie, and Nashville, after a couple of tries, they beat everyone up the ice on 1 and put it into the empty net. That would seal the game, but I have to give the Avs credit. All game long, they did not quit. They kept pushing back and getting that lead down to 1 again and again and again, and they would do the same thing here even with time dying. Kerfoot puts a shot wide here that rims all the way around to Landeskog. Once Landeskog gets the puck, he does a good job to find Kerfoot on the far side once again. Kerfoot's going to double pump this initial shot, which unfortunately takes a little bit too long and ends up getting blocked. But he somehow finds the rebound and fires again, and that one beats Rene. Once again, good things. Kerfoot picks up a goal. You get a little bit more depth scoring there, and Landeskog records his second point of the night, so that top line is going as well. Good things, but not a good situation. And the final score ends up being 4-5. And you look at it and you pick any one of those mistakes that the Avs made that cost them the goal. You clean up one of the three, and that's a tie game right there instead of a loss. I'm still very positive about this game, though. The Avs got their offense going, and while there were mistakes on defense, it's okay. That's expected. We're not supposed to beat a team like Nashville. Some good news is Sam Girard is supposedly day-to-day. If we could get him back into the lineup, that would be fantastic and would probably help out our defense quite a bit. Patrick Nemeth led the Avs in time on ice tonight with nearly 26 minutes. That's too much time on ice for him, period. It's just unfortunate that the Avs defense is so short-staffed that they kind of have to play him that much. Yes, maybe Zadorov could eat into that time a little bit more, but we did see the couple of mistakes from him, and you can't really put Barry out for those defensive zone starts. You just know that's not a good idea. It's tough, but I do think the Avs can still win a game at home here. They got the offense going, and usually it only gets better offensively for the Avs at home. I'm not greedy. I don't need the Avs to win both games at home. I'm just looking for one. And once again, just like last game, you had some young players make some mistakes. That's okay. Learn from it, teach them what they could do better, and then send them right back out there. That is the end of this playoff game review. Thank you for watching. The Avs' next game is on Monday the 16th, but their ECHL affiliate, the Colorado Eagles, are also in the playoffs, and their first game starts tomorrow, the 15th. So I'm also going to be doing videos of their playoff run. They're one of the best teams in the league and are poised for a deep run, so that's something that hopefully I can keep going even after the Avs are out of the playoffs. And they do have a number of Avs prospects on their roster for the playoffs. Julian Nantel, JC Bodin, Nicholas Milosh, and Travis Barron are all going to be down there for that playoff run, so it is interesting for the Avs to watch. I'm Rudo3, and I believe you can do it in the Pepsi Center, Avs.